What's up, Yu-Gi-Oh players? It's the RJB0 coming at you after like 50 years of inactivity. I know, it must have been torturous for you guys. And it hurts me to tell you this, because I know that you guys look up to me as a role model and you don't want to believe that I can make any mistakes, but I can't lie to you guys and you deserve to know the truth about where I've been for so long. I've gotten into a little bit of college. I know, I should have known better, and for all those kids out there, you never want to get into college. You don't even want to try it once. You don't even want to start with the application, because when you send in the application, you're thinking, I might not even use it. I just want to have that option there. But then you get the acceptance letter, and you start thinking, it might not be so bad if I just try it once, and then you go in for one day and it takes over your life. I mean, you don't even think you can live without it. You don't think you can get a job without it, and it's super unhealthy. It's stressful, and it makes you lose sleep, and the next thing you know, you're devoting all this time to college that you should be devoting to important things, you know, like Yu-Gi-Oh! But it's okay, I'm in rehab, it's a 3-day weekend. So, you guys deserve better. Here's a deck review. This week I tested Frog Lancer. Hilarious as hell to play, not to mention the fact that it's dirt cheap. It costs like $10 to make. Even a college student could make it. Okay, that's an exaggeration. But to give you an idea of how cheap it is, the most expensive thing you're going to get for it is like a Pot of Duality. Ooh, and the version of me from like a year ago just turned over in his grave. But I digress. Let's get down to the deck review. There are about 5 things that I like about the deck. Speed, stun, card advantage, card advantage, card advantage. Where do all the cards come from? Hell if I know. I'm just playing around, derping around, just got a card for Swamp Frog, send a Ronin Toad in, sack a Sea Lancer, and whoop-de-doo, I got like a dick-zillion cards in my hand. My opponent only has 1. And this is like one of those unexplained mystery things. Nobody can actually figure out why the deck builds so much card advantage so quickly. One of the main theories is the fact that you don't actually commit anything to the field with its main engine. Swamp Frog replaces itself in your hand every time you use it. The problem with that is the fact that to use Swamp Frog's effect properly, you have to discard cards from your hand. So that doesn't really check out. What I think is the fact that the deck has a big stun aspect to it. One of the things I really like about it. So, yeah, you don't commit that Swamp Frog to the field. You summon it, you add it back to your hand, and your opponent's like, well, he has jack crap, attack you directly, and you drop a 3,000 attack point Tergodia on them, and just sit on it. You just put in defense mode, and you're just like, drawing cards, and your opponent either has to use up a card that they don't want to. They have to summon a monster and then torrential, because you can't get over a 3,600 defense point Tergodia. Or they have to use up a Dark Hole, or something like that. Meanwhile, you're just building up cards in your hand. The same thing works if you set like a Dupe Frog, because it's got 2,000 defense, your opponent's like, Thunder King! And then they run into it and nothing happens. And then they either have to summon a bigger monster to get rid of it, at which point you add another card to your hand, or just wait for you to get rid of it yourself, at which point you're just drawing tons of cards, and that's where the fun begins. That's where the real card advantage begins. Because there are a couple main combos in the deck. The feature one, the reason why the deck is called Frog Lancer, is the Frogs and Sea Lancer combo. For those of you who do not know what Sea Lancer is, it's a trollsy-ass mofo that's like a level 5 Beast Warrior, something stupid like that. It's got 1,300 attack points, 1,000 defense points, and you're like, what the hell could that be useful for? But its effect is that it can use all your froggies, all your fish, all your aquas, all your sea serpents as its own little cock-blocking devices. It can grab all your banished froggies and equip it to itself, and it gains 1,000 attack. So what you do is you banish a poison draw frog or a dupe frog from your graveyard, and you special summon your Ronin Toad, you sack the Ronin Toad, summon your Sea Lancer, banish 2 more frogs for 2 more Ronin Toads, overlay for Gotchi, and equip all your dupe frogs and poison draw frogs to your Sea Lancer. It then has 2,700 attack points, can survive being killed 3 times, not to mention the fact that every time it does that, you add another card from your hand because of poison draw frog or dupe frog. So your opponent can summon a beater, but then you'll eat it with something like, you know, Treeborn and then Econ and then sack for a Cayuse or something. or you can shift it to defense with econ, or use creature swap, or they can use up all their dark hole, their torrentials, their mirror forces, and deprison actually kind of hurts it. So they can use deprisons, but you still draw a bunch of cards. Anyway, they finally get rid of your darn Sea Lancer, and then you've got like 10 cards in your hand. They've used up all their resources, and then you're like, Light and Darkness Dragon. And they're like, Scoop. Because after that, there's nothing they can do. They've got like 2 cards in their hand. Light and Darkness can negate anything the hell at once. And even if they do kill that Light and Darkness, you just summon a swap from your grave and start the whole thing over again. So if this deck is so great, it makes all the cards rain all over them bitches, why isn't it balling up the YCSs? Why doesn't it have more trophies than frickin' Lance Armstrong? Well, there are a couple things wrong with the deck. The first is consistency issues. It's got a bad habit of giving you crappy-ass hands like Light and Darkness Dragon, Sea Lancer, Econ. And you can't do jack crap with that. One thing you could do to mitigate that, which completely defeats the entire point of the deck, is add in Card D, which adds even more card advantage and a lot of consistency, and the first turn you can summon it, and then you've got 7 cards in your hand, you can just be like, discard a Ronin Totem. So that works, it just makes the deck a lot more expensive. So that's one of the big problems for you to overcome with the deck. You can use Duality pretty well. I guess you could use Moria of Greed, but I wouldn't advise it. The other thing that the deck has issues with are decks that summon big beaters. One of its biggest issues are Dark World and Chaos Dragon, because they don't even need to commit that much to the field to take down your Sea Lancer. There's also the fact that it's weak to, what was it? Oh yeah, frickin' everything. I'm talking Necro Valley D-Fissure, Macro Cosmos, DD Crow Effect Veiler, Skill Drain, Soul Drain, Fossil Dyna, Thunder King, you name it. If it goes in a side deck or even a main deck, it kills this deck. Heck, I could see somebody siding in Shape Snatch and killing this deck. The only things it isn't weak to are Decree and the Imprisoning Mirrors. I kid you not, that's just about it. And you actually use Decree pretty effectively. That gets rid of about half the cards I just mentioned. So that's good. You can use Decree. The other things you can do are use the Texts of the Week. The Texts of the Week are Obelisk the Tormentor, which is your anti-Chaos Dragon, because you summon your Ronin Totems, and you're just like, kaboom! And then they can't get rid of the thing, and it's got 4,000 attack, and you just run over all their stuff. You can also use, along the same veins against Chaos Dragon, you can use number 96 Dark Mist, which never loses a battle, which is pretty dang cool, and you can summon it really easily with this deck. But more importantly, let's talk Volcanic Queen. Now this is a card you can use against Chaos Dragon and Dino Rabbit and anything like that, and because what you do is you sack their monster for Volcanic Queen, special summon it in defense mode, and then you summon your Ronin Totems from the grave, overlay for Shining Elf. Yes, Shining Elf. This deck uses Shining Elf. That's how low budget it is. Run over the Volcanic Queen, not a problem anymore. So there's the deck review. Also, really, kids, you should go to college. Until next time, this is the RJB0 signing out.